as you would have liked. I thought for one half of action they played incredibly well. For the second half, they got beat up just a little bit. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about today this 4-game homestand that the Blazers are starting today. It is on paper the easiest homestand of the season. You got the Brooklyn Nets, you got the Milwaukee Bucks, you got the Dallas Mavericks, and you got the Washington Wizards all coming up on this schedule. And those are all teams that are currently on the outside looking in when it comes to their respective playoffs seedings. The Bucks right now 11th in the East, but they are not catching up to the Charlotte Hornets right now. Charlotte 14.5 back overall. Milwaukee 22 games back. Meanwhile, the Dallas Mavericks 33 games back. That's a 10-game difference between them and Golden State. They basically get eliminated here with one more Golden State win. You have obviously Washington, who we've talked about many times, but Washington is sitting here losers of 16 straight. And they're going to be up on this 4-game homestand. So, again, if you're the Blazers, take care of it. Get through this. You start with Brooklyn tonight, a team that you beat up just a few games ago. So, hopefully you can replicate what you did on this previous road trip and start the homestand off with a bang. But before we get to what's going to go down tonight in Moda, we got to talk about what happened last night in Denver. It's time for the Rip City Rewind. Yes, as I said, it was a tale of two halves. Now, you hear that often. It's something that you just understand. That, it was a tale of two halves. They were hot in the first half. They were cold in the second. Oh, the offense for the other team showed up. You hear it all the time. It's cliche. But I promise you, this one actually was a tale of two halves, because in the first half, it was lights out. Both teams, it was absolutely frantic basketball in the best way possible. Donovan Clingan was 4 for 4 from beyond the arc. The Nuggets started the night 7 of 9 from the floor. The Blazers were 6 of 11, so they weren't that far behind. The first timeout, or not the first timeout, but there is a timeout at the 5-minute mark, and it was 31-31 with 5 minutes left in the first quarter. That's pretty impressive. Not to mention both teams were shooting above 70%. Teams weren't wanting to miss. The offense was flowing. Watching Tumani Kamara take on Nikola Jokic was quite entertaining. At the end of one, it was 42-40 in favor of the Denver Nuggets. Portland shot 59% in that quarter. The Nuggets shot 61.5. Donovan Clingan had 12 points and 4 rebounds. And like I said, he was 4 for 4 from deep. In the second quarter, the scoring wasn't as frantic, but it was still up there. Denver ended up outscoring the Blazers 33-29. I thought there was a pretty big swing in this one late. There was 12.9 seconds left when Scoot Henderson got into Tim Hardaway's territory, fouled him on a 3-point shot. He gets those free throws with 10 seconds left. Blazers don't get another bucket, and it was 75-69 Denver at the half. DC had 16 points and 6 rebounds. Denny Avdija had 9 points, 10 assists. Jamal Murray led all scorers with 18 points. Now, the third quarter, as I said, it was the tale of two halves. The Nuggets, to their absolute credit, adjusted to what the Blazers were giving them. The Blazers tried mightily to adjust, but the Nuggets were just kind of one step ahead. But the tone was set right off the jump by Aaron Gordon. As they're coming down, the Blazers are coming down to get in their offensive set. Aaron Gordon just gives Donovan Clingan a good old-style hockey hip check. Boom, right into him. And then he goes and high-fives his bench. It's almost as if they talked in the locker room that we got to send a message and we're going to play physical and we're not going to let them get off. And that's what happened, because the Blazers only scored 24 points in that quarter to the 32 of the Nuggets, and then the Blazers held to just 19 points in the fourth. The shooting kind of fell off the face of the earth in that second half, and really I think it all started when they got punked by Aaron Gordon, and they didn't punk back. I was waiting the entire time for Donovan Clingan or someone else to get a hip check back just to say, hey, I'm not going to let that happen. You know what? You punk me, I'm going to get you punked too. But it just didn't happen. In the fourth quarter, the Blazers did get that lead down to 11 points, but a couple quick transition buckets from Denver. It was a 6-0 run out of nowhere. It was right back up to 17, and the Nuggets never looked back. I said that they had the lead at halftime, and that check by Aaron Gordon really changed the feel of the game. In that first half, the Blazers shot 52% from the field, while Denver shot 58%. Like I said, both teams shooting incredibly well. But in that second half, that field goal percentage for Portland fell to 31%, and that includes 26% from beyond the arc. So not a great shooting second half after one hell of a performance to start the game. Taking a look at the individual box scores in this one. Again, final score was 128-112 in favor of the Denver Nuggets. Points in the paint in favor of the Nuggets, 54-46. Second chance points in favor of Portland, 14-8. But as I talked about, even when Portland got it, to 11 points, it was 6 quick fast break buckets. Or points, 6 fast break points, 3 fast break buckets that got the lead back out to 17. Well, fast break points overall, Denver led that category 27-9. Turnovers were low for Portland. They had 11 of them, so they did a very good job taking care of the ball, at least especially considered what we're used to seeing from them. But the offense from Denver was just too much to take, especially in that second half. Biggest lead of the night was 20 points for Denver. Biggest lead for Portland, 0. They did not lead in this one. Individually, Aaron Gordon had 12 points for the Nuggets. Cam Johnson had 19, 22 points, 14 rebounds, and 14 assists for Nikola Jokic, 22 points for Jamal Murray. Christian Braun had 15, 13 points from Bruce Brown. And Peyton Watson, who returned to the lineup after missing some time with an injured hamstring, had 14 points off of the Nuggets bench. On the Trailblazers side of things, 16 points for Toumani Camara. He was 5 of 8 from the field. I actually loved one thing from him early was he gets in foul trouble and he has to sub out, and he was not happy about it. Kind of wanted the team to challenge the call because he just wanted to be out there. Him and Jokic were going at it. He got Jokic to push him down at one point, got the charge call, and you could hear Coach Adelman on the hot mic say that's not going to be the first time you see him fall all game. He's looking for that call, basically kind of baiting the refs into saying, hey, he's going to do that. He's going to try to convince you that it was a charge, and it wasn't. In that instance, I thought it was an offensive foul, but a couple trips down, same play happened again. This time it was a little bit of a flop, and maybe the seed that was planted by Adelman there after that play a little bit earlier, it came out. They called the foul on Toumani Camara. He has to sub out, but I loved watching the battle between him and Jokic in this one. Sidney Sissoko got the start for Jeremy Grant, who did not play in this game. He had 7 points, 18 points, and 13 rebounds for Donovan Clingan. So it was a great game for him. The tough part with this performance is the fact that he had 16 points in the first half, and again, the adjustments that Denver made held him to just 2 points in the second. Need a little bit more from DC to get that consistency flowing. I'm not dogging him. That first half was incredible, but when the other team starts adjusting, I think you got to find ways to adjust your game too. What was starting to happen was you were seeing guys like Nikola Jokic and the defenders sit out just a little bit so he couldn't get those open threes that he was getting in the first half, and then of course his paint game isn't what it needs to be yet. So it was a good adjustment by Denver. You got to give them credit for that. Denny Avdia, 23 points, 14 assists, and 6 rebounds. Drew Holiday had 9 points. Scoot Henderson, 13 points off the bench. The Blazers were led off the bench by Robert Williams, who had 16 points. Blazers had 31 assists on 42 baskets, which I like. The Nuggets had 37 assists on 49 buckets. Blazers won the rebound battle after getting absolutely dominated on the glass last time they played in Denver. So there was a lot to like from this game. Just overall, this was not a game that I thought Portland was terrible, and that's why they lost. Thought they played an incredible first half, couldn't keep up with the better team in the second, and a team that still has championship aspirations and the best player on the planet flexed on them a little bit. They have the best offense in the league. They put it on full display, and they used that to get out in front of Portland and just run away with it. Is what it is. Portland gets a chance now to readjust as they take on the Brooklyn Nets, one of the worst teams in the NBA, and we'll talk about what you can expect from them here in just a little bit. This is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. If you want to join the conversation, you can hit us up on the text line. 88528 is the number. And one of the person says, "Hey CB, you sound a little rough. Try some emergency." It always helps me. I tell you, Donovan cardio is way better. It's not even, the emergency is not it, because I'm not even sick anymore. It's just the my voice got absolutely torched when I did get sick, and so I am battling through the rasp. I've done everything. I have been downing cough drops. I have been hitting the throat spray. I have the throat coat tea. Everything to get through it. The bad part about this is I feel fine. It's terrible when you feel fine, but the voice is still hoarse. Because you're like, okay, like I'm 99% ready to go. Why is the voice still raspy? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm working on my voice acting to see if I can, bring some more to the table. Look at me. Some people like a raspy voice. I can bring it. Try my best over this commercial break to wet the whistle and get back to my normal tones. But thank you for noticing, and thank you for looking out. If you don't think that I haven't been taking emergency, you don't know me. I've been hitting it. And the throat coat tea. Throat coat tea is always the best. It's just, sometimes you just get beat up. All right, we're going to take a break here. I'm going to try to get my voice back for you. Thank you for Carrie. When we come back, we're going to hear from head coach Tiago Splitter. I also do want to hear from Donovan Clingan following that game. And, of course, we'll start to talk about the Brooklyn Nets and what you can expect on this homestand as the Blazers look to lock their spot in the play-in. Chris Burkhardt here with you on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Welcome back into Blazers Gameday. Chris Burkhardt here with you. See, if I get a few minutes to not talk, then the voice comes out sounding normal. It's when I get back into my awesome monologues that only I think are awesome that the voice starts to hiccup again. But again, thank you for shouting out, thinking that we're worrying about me. So another texter says, I didn't think your voice was much different until something was said. Just figured it was a radio reception in my car. Look at that. That is a talent right there. I can mimic the haziness, the white noise that comes across AM sometimes with my raspy, sick voice. Again, the worst part is I'm not sick. Like I was sick like last week, whereas like sleeping was terrible. I mean, you guys don't need all the details, but I was sick. The voice lingers. And the worst part is, my wife will tell you this too, like whenever I get sick, I almost always get the sore throat. And for someone who hosts radio, it's like the worst thing possible. Like I'd rather have a stomach ache. Like I get paranoid that I'm going to lose my voice. But that's also one of my stories, is the very first show that I got to host solo here in Rip City Radio was the fifth quarter. And Chad comes in. I was producing the show, and Chad did Game Day remotely. And he's like, hey, I'm going to do Game Day at Spirit Mountain, I think it was, and I'm going to come back. I'll host the fifth quarter in studio. I'm like, okay, not a problem. So I'm sitting in studio, and Chad was telling me during Game Day in Rip City Drive, he's like, yeah, I'm starting to feel a little under the weather, but I think we're good. All right, we're not a problem. He walks in. Game had like just tipped off. And he walks in. He's like, Burkhardt, I think I need you to host the fifth quarter. And I'm not even joking. That was his voice. It was gone. And I'm like, who's going to produce the show? Like, who's going to push the buttons? And he's like, teach me how. So I taught him the bare minimum. Okay, this is how you load music into Next Gen, which is the program we use that runs everything, and then this is how you turn on my audio and you play the. He's like, okay, I think we're good, and we got through. That's how I hosted the show. Was Chad lost his voice? Every radio host's dream, losing their voice, right? By dream I mean nightmare. So shout out to everyone who's glad I'm over here. So I've been singing too much death metal, maybe. I'm definitely not going to show you my death metal voice, because I would definitely lose my voice right now if I did. Now, enough of me talking about my voice. Let's hear from head coach Tiago Splitter. It's time to go to the Coach's Corner.
Coach, you guys got off to an amazing start. What did you see in the second half?
I think they pick us apart. Running the court, they put a lot of pressure on us. Running in transition, we couldn't, rebound as well as we wanted, and they were running against our defense, playing against an unset defense, and getting easy buckets. We tried to do different things, different matchups, and they always find a way to score. Talk to the guys after the game. And this is kind of a team where, you make a mistake, they make you pay. They just react to everything you do, and the focus got to be in every part of every possession, which is extremely difficult. That's why they make you pay. That's why they are one of the best offensive teams in the league.
Only 3 turnovers in the first half, and then that kind of started to be an issue in the second half. What do you think went into that unravel?
Yeah, I think we were not patient. We tried to play in crowds, going 1 against 2, and this is when we gotta keep sharing the ball and just be patient, because this is what they do. They want you to play in that crowd defense, and we were not patient enough.
Now that's over, how do you look back on the trip?
We got 3-2. Could be better, of course. I think that game in Philly, we should have been better, but at the end of the day, it's 3-2. You gotta take it and go take care of business at home. We got an important week in front of us. We gotta be solid at home, take care of home, and then go again on a road trip. So, I understand that we are going in the right path. We are getting better tonight defensively, and again, I wish we were a little bit more focused, but the right mind is there, and I think we are, in a crescent. We are growing.
And there you go. He thinks they're on the crest of the wave. They're growing, and I like that. I think they're in a good spot. And this home stretch right here, like I said a few times, absolutely crucial for what they want to do moving forward. And as we talk about audio and voice issues, that one cracks me up too, because here's a deep cut for you. There's a couple little audio blips in that totally sound like the sound Bowser makes in Mario, like when he shoots fire. Like, these are the things that go through my mind, friends. We're here. We're having fun. This is Blazers Game Day. If you want to join the conversation, 503-248-0620 is the telephone number. You also hit us up on the text line, 88528. Go to youtube.com, type in Rip City Radio, and you can join the chat there as well. We're in still image territory because I forgot my audio adapter. So Brendan doing a good job making sure we're out there. You guys can listen in and join the conversation. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to take a look around the NBA scoreboard, see what other games are going on that may impact your Blazers, and we're going to focus on this Brooklyn Nets team. We're going to look at what happened just a few games ago when Portland went to Barclays Center and wiped them. Played a very, very good game. Can they replicate that tonight? We'll talk about it when we return here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. We are getting you ready for Blazers versus Nets, game 1 of a 4-game homestand. And before we dive into what Brooklyn can give the Blazers tonight and what we can expect, let's take a look around the NBA scoreboard, see what might impact the Blazers elsewhere. Hit that intro. All right, taking a look around the league real quick. 11 minutes left in the third quarter. The Lakers trailing the Pistons 71-57. 8 minutes and 51 seconds left in the third quarter. The Pacers beating the Magic 74-69. Pascal Siakam with 25 points for Paulo Banchero as well. 7 minutes left in the third. OKC beating the 76ers 76-58. Chet Holmgren with 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Halftime in Miami, the Spurs with a 76-58 lead over the Heat. Victor Wembanyama, 13 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks. Almost, they got the exact same scores, and Wemby and Chet have similar stat lines in 2 different games. Look at that. We got 2 minutes and 59 seconds left in the second. Memphis trails the Hawks 44-59. Nickeil Alexander-Walker with 16 points for Atlanta. Houston trailing the Bulls 32-21 with 2 minutes left in the first. The Raptors will take on the Jazz a little bit later tonight in Utah. Golden State takes on Dallas tonight. Tip-off at 6:30, so that one might be worth a watch. Can Dallas grab a win and help Portland out, even though it does feel like the Warriors are definitely kind of locked into that 10 spot, but still worth watching. And then you do have a game that you should watch tonight that isn't the Blazers. Just go look at the scores throughout the game. But at 7:30, you got the Bucks taking on the Clippers in L.A. Granted, the Bucks are kind of out of the playoff race in the East right now, but could they get the upset win over the Clippers and help the Blazers out? We will find out later tonight. This NBA Scoreboard Report has been brought to you by McCord's Vancouver Toyota, where they live by the slogan, "We make it easy." Check out their inventory at vancouvertoyota.com. All right, now, the Blazers are here tonight, back home after a 5-game road trip. They're taking on the Brooklyn Nets. And as I said multiple times for you, the Blazers now embark on a 4-game stand that is probably the easiest homestand on paper of the entire season. You still have to take care of business, though. You have to lock in. You have to be prepared. You have to be ready to go. Can they get it done tonight? Well, to give you an idea of what you can expect against the Brooklyn Nets, all you got to do is go back just a week ago on this road trip. It was Portland in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. Wonderful arena, by the way, if you've never been down there, to take on the Nets. And this was a game where Portland just came out and hammered them. Portland had a 35-20 lead in the first quarter. They led 30-21 after the second, and they just continued to pour it on the rest of the way. Now, they did lose the fourth quarter battle 30-23, but at that point, really, they had taken care of business. The Nets tried to get back into it, but the hole was just too deep. And Portland, they held on. That's exactly what you wanted them to do. Now, Brooklyn, again, like I said, they got to a point where it's like, okay, it was getting a little bit hairy here. But Portland, to their credit, because they had that massive first half, got a lead where they could sustain those big, deep runs from Brooklyn and still feel pretty safe about the outcome the rest of the way. That's exactly what you wanted. It was the type of performance this Blazer team needed, quite frankly, to really kind of get over the hump and feel confident in what they could do. Now, you look at the individual box score in this one, and again, Jeremy Grant, he only played a handful of minutes, 31 of them, but he had 12 points. But the thing is, I said a handful because no one really had to go into those big minutes. No one had to play 38. No one had to play 39. No one had to play 40 because everyone was able to get a rest. That was huge. Tumani Kamara had 18 points, 14 points from Donovan Clingan to go along with 11 boards, 18 for Denny, 11 for Drew, 14 for Chris Murray, who was absolutely massive, and 16 from Scoot Henderson. It was balanced scoring from everybody in this one on a night when the Blazers shot 51% from the floor, 42% from deep, which you don't see very often. For the Nets, They were led by their bench, 17 points from Chaney Johnson, 15 points apiece from Tyson Etienne and Ben Serif, and they shot just 38% from the floor. So Portland shot incredibly well in this one, but they still struggled to hold on to the ball. They turned the ball over 18 times in that ball game. Again, the things you don't normally see with this Portland team is shooting the ball so well from beyond the arc. They did it in that game, and it allowed them to get out to a big lead. Now, you saw what happened last night in Denver. They shot the ball incredibly well to start the game from beyond the arc. They were hitting. They were keeping pace with Denver. Difference between Denver and Brooklyn is Denver is the number one offense in the league. The Brooklyn Nets are not. The Brooklyn Nets are a whole different ball game. It is why they come into this game at 17-54, losers of 7 in a row, 2-8 in their last 10, the third worst record in the NBA. Now, that does not mean that they can't come in here and get a victory over the Blazers if the Blazers do what they did last time they played in Washington, which was sleepwalk through the game. Because they might not have the talent, and they might be putting a roster out there that is not as good as some others, but those guys on the court are NBA players, and those guys on the court want to win games. So if you're the Blazers, lock in. You have to lock in. Now the Nets, like I said, they are full in tank mode. They aren't looking to win as many ball games as they can. I mean, right now, when you're that stacked up in the standings, 17-54, and then you have Washington who has 16 wins, Indiana has 15 wins. Like, you're all stacked up right there, top three. The odds and the lottery, all that stuff doesn't matter when you're the top three, not as much, but still, you're full in lottery mode. And you have different players who are out, different players who, oh yeah, is it really an injury or is it the tankathon? We've seen it happen here in Portland. But this Nets team, even when they're healthy, has not been very good. And the Blazers look to take advantage of that. Looking at the injury report, back on March 19th, Michael Porter Jr. had an MRI to confirm a left hamstring strain. He's been out. He's going to be out for a few more weeks. Danny Wolf is out tonight with an ankle injury. Drake Powell is out. Terrence Mann is out. Noah Clowney is out. It's a lot of injuries to deal with. Danny Wolf had 18 points in that game. Drake Powell had 2 points. So you throw in your makeshift lineup, and then with the Blazers, you don't have Robert Williams because Robert Williams hasn't been playing on the second night of back-to-backs. So that one does factor in a little bit. Do you go super small? Chris Murray, who had a good performance in that game against them last time, playing some minutes at center will definitely factor into that rotation. So you'll have to look into that. But you're also, with the Blazers, you're without Jeremy Grant tonight, who is out again with left foot soreness, and you're without Vit Krejci, who has been a good scorer off your bench. He hasn't lived up to the hype that kind of was bestowed upon him when he came in, being a career 40% three-point shooter, but I've argued full on the entire time that his shot's there. You see it. It's going to fall. He has gravity still, and he can change this offense. Not having him hurts you. So can the Blazers, without Vit Krejci, without Jeremy Grant, go in, take care of business, and just slam the door early? That's what you have to do against all four teams this homestand. Slam the door early, because if you keep the door open for any of them, they'll find a way to open it. Slam it on them. Don't give them a chance. That is your best route to success if you are the Portland Trail Blazers. Through that road trip, I thought you saw that happen in a great way against Brooklyn. You saw him do it against Indiana, and then against a really good team like Minnesota, you saw them obviously not slam the door, but just take the blows and battle with them. And then against Denver for the first half, you saw them match everything that they were throwing at them. The offense can click, and if they can get that to click for 4 quarters tonight, you walk away with a dub. Hopefully it happens. That's just a little bit of a breakdown. Let's take a deeper dive, tell you what they need to do to win. Keys to the game. We'll tell you after the break, because the boss man, Chad Doing's on his way up, and he's going to lay down what's for Lay it all on the table. Tell me what the Blazers need to do to get a victory over the Nets. I'll give you my keys as well. All that and more here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. We are getting you ready for Blazers versus Nets tonight, game 1 of a 4-game homestand. What do the Blazers need to do to get the job done? Well, let's tell you right now. It's time for our keys to victory. All right, welcoming the man back in, Chad Doing.
I need to apologize. I sent you a text message that may have been a little over the top. I misread your original text, and I thought you were giving me a hard time. So I was like, hey, bleep off. And then I reread it. I was like, oops, my bad.
Well, I didn't want to, put you on blast, but the reason I did that was because I heard that someone may have forgot that they were supposed to join Brendan a couple games ago.
That is true. 100% forgot. And it's because we have implemented a new system mid-season, and so I'm not in the habit of going down, doing my stuff downstairs and then coming back upstairs, so it's a little too much for me to remember. So I'm glad that you text me, because had you not, I would have forgotten to come back up.
Hey,
that's the funny part in all of it.
Hey, to be fair, I'm the one who implemented the new system, and I still got to check my notes to remember. So it's all good.
Okay.
So tonight you got the Brooklyn Nets who come in. About half their team is out and injured, and
they suck.
Yeah, but they're still a scrappy unit. So the Blazers still have to be focused to take care of business. But you look back at that game a week ago in Brooklyn, which was a very well-rounded game for Portland, where they just came out, jumped on them early, and that's what I think you got to do again tonight.
That's true, but they did give up 16 unanswered points late third into the fourth, which cut their 31-point lead into a 15-point lead. This is very simple, and this is the same keys to victory that you could apply to every game. The next 4 games are all games they should win. No question about it. The Blazers are like 15-point favorites tonight. So it's very simple. Don't turn the basketball over. Protect the basketball. And if they do that, they're going to win, and they're going to win by 20-plus tonight. No question about it. But if you get sloppy and you're not focused on your execution and you don't come out with purpose right from the opening tip, then they're going to find themselves in a situation where, like we saw against Indiana, where you're down by double digits, or Utah down by double digits in the first half. I just think this is very simple. Being a winning team is about learning how to approach the game and your focus level and handling the little details, the margins that we talk about. Tonight's a perfect example. Don't turn the basketball over. Start the game with the right mindset, and they're going to be fine.
Yeah, and you also heard Coach Thiago Splitter after that game last night talking about kind of feeling like the team's at the crest and they're going in the right direction. Like, I came away from that game last night looking at that first half going, okay, we see what can happen when this offense clicks, and they can do it again tonight. So, yeah, you just got to slam the door. And, yeah, the 16-0 run hurt, but the fact you were up 30 allowed for that. Doesn't mean you want to see it again, but you saw what can happen here when this team clicks.
Yeah, I agree. And, I thought the defense was a little bit lacking yesterday, but I want to see more efforts like we saw in that second half against Minnesota. If your offense isn't working, if you're not making your threes, how do you find ways to win? You do that by getting stops. And then, obviously, the other key, and this is for every game too, but, just continue to rebound the heck out of the basketball. Dominate the offensive glass, and if they do that, you're going to see at the end of the night the big advantage in second chance points. So you want to see tonight at the end of the game, do the Blazers, have they protected the basketball? Their turnovers are somewhere well below their 18 that they average per game, and the offensive rebounds. Are they dominating the glass and getting those second chance points? And if they have an advantage there, they'll be fine.
Yeah, and just real quick before we let you go, too, the next game on the schedule against Milwaukee, and some interesting news just came across the board. They waived Cam Thomas.
They did?
They waived Cam Thomas just now.
Wow.
I mean, he's only averaging like 10.7 points for him, but I mean,
they put him out of his misery playing for that team right now.
Yeah. So again, so now you have a team coming in already dealing with injuries, just cut a player. So yeah, Blazers should take care of what's in front of them. Now, before you go, just tell us, what can we expect coming up on the pregame show?
I'm going to Tom Haberstroh is going to do a little deep dive on Donovan Clingan in this recent 3-game heater that he's been on. We'll also ask him what the keys are to taking care of business in the next 4 games and games that they should win. And then Travis will have a conversation with Nate Bjorkgren, Trailblazers assistant, as the Blazers kick off the 4-game homestand.
I think you need to pick Tom's brain, be like, so when you're sitting at home and you're bored, like, what makes you decide that, okay, This is the stat that I'm going to research tonight because he picks some off the wall ones, and I love it.
I don't understand nerds, and I'm not smart, so I don't even dive into that area. I let him just give me the information he's got, and I live with it.
Yeah, that works for me. All right, Chad.
And sorry for telling you to F off via text. It's my bad. I was a loose cannon, and I shouldn't have done it, all right? I did. I just simply said F off. Oops, my bad.
I like it. I understand your humor, so I understood where it was coming from.
I'm ashamed of myself. Out of control.
Yeah, absolutely out of control. But he'll be in control for the next hour on the Trailblazers pregame show across the Trailblazers audio network. And, he's absolutely right. I mean, that 16-0 run that they put together at the end of the third going into the fourth last time they played Brooklyn, that was bad. But the good was the fact that they had that 30-point lead. They were able to weather that storm and still hold on because we have seen this team do it over the years. Blazer fans know we've seen those big leads slip away. And, how did this happen? The fact that they were able to stop that bleeding when they did and still lock in and grab the dub is big. And now they get to do it again tonight, hopefully grab a W. And Milwaukee comes in on Wednesday without Cam Thomas, which, that's not as if that's the most jarring thing of all time. He's played 18 games for Milwaukee, and he's averaging 10.7 points for him. He played 24 games with Brooklyn, averaged 15.6. So Portland gets to play his two former teams here over the next two games. And then you got Dallas, who, again, they got Cooper Flagg. He's great. But they've had their downs this year, not their ups and downs, pretty much just their downs as they currently sit at 23-48. So they're not good. Third worst team in the Western Conference. They're not as bad in the standings though as a team like Brooklyn or a team like Washington. So you got to watch out. You got to see what they're going to give you. But these four games, as I've said many times, and I will talk about it over this stretch of home games, it's not only on paper the easiest home stretch of the year, but four games you absolutely have to take advantage of. And when you look at the standings right now, it is Phoenix in 7th, and then the Clippers in 8th. They are a half game ahead of the Blazers in 9th, and then you have Golden State at 10th, who are a game and a half behind the Blazers. So there's still a little bit of wiggle room in there. But Golden State struggled. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 2-8 in their last 10. The Clippers have won 1 in a row. They're 5-5 in their last 10. Portland is 6-4 in their last 10. Losers have 1 in a row. That was that game last night against Denver. You take care of these 4 home games, and then you have a matchup with the Clippers, one of 2 remaining games against the Clippers. And if you win at least one of those and these 4, you're in a very, very good spot when it comes to trying to grab the all-important 8th seed heading into the play-in. All right, the music means it's time to go. For me, not for you. You got to keep it locked in because coming up next across the Trailblazers audio network, Chad Dewing has the Trailblazers pregame show, and then he'll pass the mic off to your radio voice of the Blazers, Travis Demers, and he'll have the call for Blazers versus Nets right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. And as always, keep it locked in after the game for the 5th quarter, where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory. Rip City, Blazers, Nets coming up tonight, and we'll talk to you after the game.